Okay, here we go again. I'm starting all over again. So my name is Kim Vermaak. I am the author of the book series, The Chronicles of Nadine, and I'm a self-published author. And I have a lot of people that have come to me and they said they want to be an author, but they don't quite know where to start. And so I've created a course which is based on my experience when I was pretty fearful on how to start being an author. So if you want to be an author and you're not knowing how to start out, this is really the place to be. And today I'm going to give you a little sneak peek on what the course is going to be about. The section that we're working on today is going to be about the power of newsletters. And some of you might be asking, well, why does an author need a newsletter? Shouldn't you just put the book out there? You know, at the end of the day, if you want to be a hobbyist, then that's great. But for me, the reason that I started writing, besides the love of writing, is that I wanted to leave a legacy for my family. And having a book is an asset. It actually produces royalties for you over time and is a way for you to be able to take care of your family. And if you're struggling through COVID-19, I just want to encourage you. Our books were actually what gave us food in the first few weeks of COVID-19, because my husband, who is in training, his courses got put on hold. And so he actually couldn't train during that time. And it was really the royalties from the books that assisted us. So there's a lot of encouragement and hope for people who do want to start an author career. You might not be making lots of money straight away, but you can actually build up into it. So to have a newsletter, you have to ask yourself, why do people even want a newsletter? So I'm going to do a few screen shares. Forgive me, I'm not very au fait with this particular formula, but let's go for it. So here comes our first screen. Let's just wait for it to go live. There you go. So the first thing is, if you are a brand new author, it allows you to get into the practice of writing. And daily writing is one of the things that we really encourage new authors to do. Sometimes people get a little bit stuck. They don't really know what to do, how to progress. And just doing a short newsletter can actually make a big difference to you. How frequently you send out the newsletter is up to you, but we do recommend that it is regular. I'm going to be working on once a week, but for some people, once a month is absolutely perfect. And it allows you to connect with your readers. People really want to know about you. Sometimes authors think, well, they're hiding away. They just want the book out there. They don't want publicity, but that time has come and gone. People really want to know something about you. And if you look at some of the magazines in the past, things like People Magazine, You Magazine, people bought those magazines because they wanted to see the inside lives of the different movie stars, and authors are actually no different. It is something that you need to be doing to engage with your audience. Now, I want to tell you that it's much cheaper than advertising. So as a new author, you want to be able to market yourself, but without it costing you an arm and a leg. And that's one of the issues that we deal with in the course, is what the costs of starting an author career is. Now, advertising can actually set you back quite a bit. I, for argument's sake, advertise on Amazon, and there's a whole lot of complications which we'll get into later on in the courses. But basically, I have a $5 a day budget. I don't use all of that. It only gets used when people click onto it, but it is something that you have to put aside money for. However, a newsletter, you do not have to put aside money for. Yes, you might need a bit of data to send it out, and you will need to have a computer or a phone or something that can assist you, but you don't need to pay anyone to do it. You can do it yourself, and there are a lot of great free email services. I, for argument's sake, use MailChimp. It is for free up until a certain number of users, and they've got fabulous templates that you can use that are completely for free and customizable. Okay, another thing is that some readers may not actually be on social media. If you're watching this on Facebook, then you're probably going to say, is that even possible? People aren't on social media. But yes, there are. You get some people who have technophobe, they don't like using technology. And then you get other people that might have a little bit of addictive personalities, and they realize that social media is ruling their lives, so they will go off social media, and then you'll be able to connect with those people on email. So I've got a little bit of a tickle in my throat. Okay, the other benefit is that it converts readers into avid fans. That is very important for you as a writer, because you want people to buy your first book, your second book, and your third book. And sorry, sometimes people forget about you. Your book might be very exciting to you. You may have some friends and family that will say, yay, we're going to read everything that you write. We can't wait to see the next book. But the greater audience out there has masses and masses of books to share from. So really, you want to be in a place where you can communicate with your readers and tell them what's happening in your life. And I'm going to share a short story of what happened to me in this past week. I went onto my Amazon KDP dashboard, and that showed me how many sales I had. And then I noticed someone from Australia bought my book. The person bought an ebook. I don't know if it's a lady or a man, but I don't know who that person is. It's not my customer, it's an Amazon customer. And none of you would share your customer database with other people. So when you have a newsletter, people then sign onto your newsletter and you own that information. So those are just some of the benefits of a newsletter. So we're going to go on to our next slide, and we're going to show you what are some of the other components of newsletters that are going to be important for you. Let's get to our next module, and that is the components of a newsletter. So some people will say, what do you want to have in a newsletter? Well, that is up to you. But I've shown here what my newsletter looks like and what formula it is that I use. So I use my branded banner. I always keep that the same so that people can start recognizing who I am and what I'm about. So you'll see there's my picture, there's one of my books, I've got a little snippet of a castle in the back there, and that is the same image that is on my YouTube, it is on my website, so everyone can easily recognize it. And when you are moving from my newsletter into my website or into YouTube, you will straight away feel at home because you recognize the images. Then I add in something current that is happening. So a little while ago, there were a lot of people that were complaining about debt relief and that kind of thing. And I write medieval fantasy. So I wrote a section over there about what debt collection was like in the medieval times. And that was very different. I mean, they would come and take your children as indentured servants. They would take a portion of your land. So debt collection is different these days. There are rules and regulations about it, but we can still lose a lot of things that are important to us. And so there were some of the feelings and things that happened with people at that time that I shared with my current readers. Okay, and at the moment, we are in COVID-19, so one of the things that I answer is, how am I coping in COVID-19? Then I will say where to find my books, whether that is on Amazon or on Apple Books, or if you can order directly from me. People need to know where to buy your books. And I have the typical author question, and then I include something that I am writing at the moment. So what I'm writing at the moment is book number 3, and book number 3 is probably about 60% of the way through. I'm quite excited about it. Book number 2 is with my editor, and this is an area that you can actually tell people, when is your pre-order going to be coming out? What's happening in your life? Those are really important things for you to share with your readers, because if they're going to invest money into your book, they want to know that you're living up to your brand promise, and that's information that you can share over there. Right, and then on to our next section, subscription hooks. So what is a subscription hook? A subscription hook is something that you offer for free to people so that they will sign on to your newsletter. I have a form that I put onto via MailChimp that I put onto my website. So when people go onto my website, there is the promise of the item that I am going to be offering, and that is my subscription hook. The thing that I do is it's a small little book. It's a free download, and it's called the Dragon Whisperers Field Guide. So there are 4 different dragons in my book: the silver winged dragon, the copper fire dragon, the emerald forest dragon, and the crystal water dragons. And when you get the download, you can find out a little bit about each of the dragons. But for you, you might be writing something completely different. So you can put a how-to guide, how to get rid of frizzy hair. If you're writing a book about hairdressing, you could put down an illustration of one of your characters that you'd like to share. You could include a coupon. Maybe if you are doing a book about entertaining, you could put down a free restaurant guide. You know, there's so many things that you can do as long as you know something about your audience. Okay, then moving on. Oh, there's a little pop-in over there. I think someone is chatting to me. So hello to those people who are participating. Okay, then let's go on to our next slide. And, okay. So we're just about coming to the end of our little snippet. That is a short section on what is going to be happening in our course. And if you want to find out more, the course is going to be starting on the 1st of June at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be via Zoom. The cost is 200 Rand per lesson. There are 10 modules, and if you are taking the full course, then that would be 1,800 Rand. You get a discount. How do you book? Via email. And how would you pay? You would pay via EFT once you've received an invoice. So now I want to cover a couple of questions that people ask. So questions that people have come to me about, and they say, how do you build an email database? Well, with patience and care. So there are a couple of things that you can do. I mentioned beforehand, add something to your newsletter. MailChimp has got services that allow you to automatically do that, and we can cover more of that in the full course. The other things that you can do is every time you meet someone, you can put on their name onto your database, and everything is stored on a cloud. So if something happens to your computer, it's fine. MailChimp will actually store that information for you. And then you must remember you must have an opt-out section. Certain of the mail servers will automatically add that for you. There is various ways that you can do it. You can do an opt-in, and you can do an opt-out, or you can do both. Some countries allow you to add someone to the database and then not have them confirm their subscription. And other countries, it's compulsory for people to confirm their subscription. So you have to decide what is best for your particular country, but you always have to have an opt-out where people can automatically opt out. Your database is going to grow over time. The more people that you meet, and if it adds good value to it, more and more people are going to want to sign up. And then there are a couple of organizations that facilitate newsletter swaps. And what that means is that you pair up with another author that writes similar kind of things to you, and you can then share information about their book, and they can share information about your book. You still own your own subscription base, but if people like what they see about your book, they can then have the opportunity to opt into your newsletter. And a lot of people have achieved amazing success with that. So there you have it. That is a little bit about how to grow your database. I see there is another question that comes up, and that is, what do you say about frequently asked questions? Well, every author has got their own thing that they like to put together, but quite typical questions are, what gives you your inspiration? where do you find the time to write? I have children. How do I do this without interfering with their life? Those are things that will be unique to you. Some questions, the way that I answer some of those questions, my inspiration is my middle daughter. She's got a very adventurous spirit. And when I saw the kind of person she was, that inspired me to write this character, Nadine. And so a lot of the personality characteristics of that character actually come from her. In terms of where do you find the time to write, the answer I would give is that I generally write from 3 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock. However, that included a lot of my research on how to be an author, the courses that I did it all in that snippet before the children woke up. And now that I don't have to do as much research on how to be an author, I already got that down. Now I spend more time writing and I can actually get up a little bit later. So those are some kind of questions that people are going to be asking from your newsletter, and how you can engage with the audience. So yes, by all means, email me if you've got any other questions, and I'd love to hear from you. If you want to participate in the course, please send me an email, and I hope that this particular course has added some value to your life. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.